we are talking about evolution of urbanity as one track. Then we are talking about city and arts. We are talking about how we look at cities from the ecological and environmental perspective.
Urban sociology, anthropology, and urban geography, where some of the best writings at this point in time are happening.
Understanding how cities transform, how do they take their shape from their yesteryears to today, and what are the possibilities of the transformation in future.
We have a lot of consultancies and research projects which are going on in the institute, and we try to engage students in some or the other way.
So we have tried to shift the focus of the program to be more studio centric, and all the other subjects, allied subjects, feeding into the studio, and it largely focuses on urban form in that sense.
Yeah, so urban design program at SPA Bhopal since its inception in 2010 has evolved into a very complex feedback program wherein we are looking at cities from very different perspective. If you look at the syllabus structure of urban design program at SPA Bhopal, you will realize that we are talking about evolution of urbanity as one track. Then we are talking about city and arts. We are talking about how we look at cities from the ecological and environmental perspective. And at the same time, the overarching view which we take at SPA Bhopal in urban design program is looking at cities as systems and network. So our design studios focus on analyzing cities from their network perspective and trying to understand that how this network work efficiently. So all our analysis of various cities which we undertook in last so many years focused on understanding them from a systemic point of view. Also at the same time, being located in Bhopal, the advantage we have is that many of our studio themes as well as our seminar themes are focused on ecology, urban ecology, and of course, not to mention specially, but today's era is about climate change and how we respond, and especially from the urban design point of view, how our cities will respond to ever-growing challenge which we are facing, that is of climate change. So resiliency then also becomes part of our inquiry in many of the subjects which we teach at SPA Bhopal.
Urban design as a discipline engages in the design of cities. At School of Planning and Architecture Bhopal, we try and integrate teaching and learning processes along with other disciplines, specializations like urban planning, conservation, landscape, environment planning, to bring a holistic approach to the discourses in urban design, along with scholarships from urban sociology, anthropology, and urban geography, where some of the best writings at this point in time are happening. The nature of collaborative interdisciplinary projects that we undertake, where the students get to participate, is very helpful and prepare the students and give them appropriate exposure to be professionally valid, responsive, and contemporary.
PG program of urban design in the School of Planning and Architecture Bhopal is very well designed to make sure that the students who get admitted here, when they come out, have a larger vision to understand the whole concept of urban design that is being spread all over the country. Now, to begin with, the idea basically is to make sure that the students who are basically architects go beyond the confines of a building, try to understand what goes around the building in terms of image, in terms of history, in terms of culture, tradition, the spaces, and all those activities which actually make a town what it is. In the semesters that follow right from the first year till the third year, there is a gradual increase in the level of complexity of the studies. The first semester is basically devoted to understand the various keywords which are used in urban design. For example, when the students are here, they are actually graduate of architecture, and they are more or less limited to the site that they are given in the architecture course. But here there is no site as far as urban design is concerned. The students have to understand the various vocabulary which is used, and a lot of such words are used right in the first semester, so that they are able to understand what are the different ways of looking at the city, reading the city, going through its architecture, going through its growth, trying to understand the potential of a city, trying to understand the potential of an area. So in order to understand all this, the first semester is largely devoted to understanding one confined area in a city. The next semester, which is also known as the city studio, where the students are taken out of their campuses, out of the city, and they go into a city is selected where the complexity of understanding the structure of a city is quite higher. In the past, we have taken the students to cities like Kochi, to Panji, to Vadodara, to Madurai, and various places where there is a good amount of complexity, so that the students are able to understand how cities grow. And these complexities are understood by way of moving into the cities, trying to understand what the complexities are about, and trying to read the different layers. The third semester is devoted to urban transformation, which is something, so to say, is understanding how cities transform, how do they take their shape from their yesteryears to today, and what are the possibilities of the transformation in future. So then again, a different set of studies are understood in terms of a futuristic approach to the city, where different plans which are already there in the city are taken into consideration. What are the various ways in which the city can be guided in order to have a better future. So in this particular semester, students are again taken out of the city, and they go into areas which are very fastly developing, so that they are able to understand the basic nature, the basic ingredients which actually suggest the transformation. And therefore all these types of cities are considered which are worth considering for the futuristic approach. The final semester is devoted for their urban design thesis, which is actually the culmination of all that is they have studied in the last 3 semesters. So coming back to the understanding of the course, it's a very dynamic course, it's a very interactive course, and it is always good to see students interacting, giving their own ideas. And the best part of SPA is that we have students from all across the country, right from the north to the south to the east to the west, and each of them bring different sets of culture. And because they are already architects, they have a lot of understanding of spatial part of architecture, and they are very easily making their inroads into urban design. And finally, what we see in SPA Bhopal is that we have a good faculty, a good infrastructure, and students enjoy learning. As I already said, it's a very interactive course, and students love to be here. And the 2 years that they spend here is worth what it is.
Cities are very complex urban systems, and to understand it holistically, at SPA Bhopal, we have designed a curriculum which is very multidisciplinary in nature. So we have subjects ranging from transport planning to site and urban systems planning, urban regeneration, GIS, planning, policy making, etc. So just to talk about a few of these, like a subject called GIS. Here we try to make students market ready. If you see nowadays, for all job applications, what is needed is a person to know about how he or she can utilize his skills in GIS, or use big data in a certain way, predict how future cities can be. So our curriculum not only tries to infuse the basics of these subjects, but also tries to see how students can make qualitative inquiries in these subjects. So there's also a subject like Urban Design Lab, where students from the starting itself, they can have a choice as to how to pursue their area of interest. So we try to infuse this flexibility in our curriculum from the first semester itself. So students can engage in workshops, conferences, paper writing contests and different arenas outside the institute, and the institute can give them credit for what they have done in the real world. So again, this is something which engages students with the outside world. We have a lot of consultancies and research projects which are going on in the institute, and we try to engage students in some or the other way to get an exposure of what is happening in different associated fields, not only in urban design domain, but also housing and conservation and other projects, because projects do not deal with only one domain, they are multidisciplinary. So what we try to do, that has been a continuous process, is the revisions we have done in our curriculum. We try to engage, since this is almost a decade, more than a decade long program. So we have a very rich alumni who are engaged with us, associated with us, and continuously give us feedback as to how we can improve the curriculum. So we try to stay in touch with them and try to improve our curriculum continuously. Thank you.
Hello all of you. I'm a faculty at School of Planning and Architecture in the Department of Urban Design. I've been teaching urban design here since the last decade, and the program now has grown over 10 years. So in case you're interested in applying and you think that your future lies here in the program, I'll tell you some of the few facets the program will offer you as opposed to applying in other institutes and the same course or similar relevant course being offered by other schools. One of the major focuses of our program is the program intends to focus, and this has been a shift lately since a syllabus restructuring has happened since the past 3-4 years. So we have tried to shift the focus of the program to be more studio centric, and all the other subjects, allied subjects, feeding into the studio, and it largely focuses on urban form in that sense. Also, we intend to build a lot on the fact that we are based out of Bhopal, which is a city in central India, and the city itself offers a lot of opportunities for you as a student of urban design to explore. Bhopal is one of the very few cities where you have, you have a lot of ecological concerns being present in the city. Like you have a national park within the city and ecological concern in terms of topography and things like that, and also it's got an traditional inner core being one of the princely states, and also being a new capital town being built in the 1950s. It's got part of the new town, and then newer projects like the Smart City project, the metro project coming into the city. So you can see a lot of urban transformations of different and various kinds in the city at a scale where you can understand it. I can understand that there would be other major transformations happening in larger cities, but the scale of the city is such that it will give you that opportunity to study it. Okay, so I hope that you tend to apply and offer the program, and we'll put in our best efforts to support you. Thanks.